by Gulfstream Park.
Hold the mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defo and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the flim flam sauce with the awesome fave, with shafafa on the side.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another fantastic, beautiful day. It's a Friday at Gulfstream Park, and boy, am I really happy today because we have a special guest. Turns out to be a special guest co-host because Defo on the injured reserve list. I don't know what happened between this morning show and now, but all I know is that he is not here. He's going for medical treatment, but that's okay because we've got, it's like Lou Gehrig and Wally Pipp. I think it's Wally Pipp. I am really pleased for his Lunchbox debut. The man, the legend, local broadcaster extraordinaire.
Thank you.
Tony Segreto, welcome to the Lunchbox.
Mike, it's so great to see you again. And before we even went on the air today, Mike and I were having great conversations about our history together, and as I like to call it, running the streets when we were young reporters.
I was a young punk. You are a very distinguished, respected local sportscaster, national sportscaster.
Yeah.
And talking about like Wally Pipp, I mean, you would on the late Michael Sunday night sports machine, and I would always be happy when I would tune in and I didn't see George Michael, no offense, but I would see Tony. Kind of the way I guess a lot of people on the Lunchbox today are tuning in expecting to see Tony Segreto here again.
You have to tell you, that was such a treat to do that George Michael show. It was so fun. And little did I know that from that first time doing it for 29 years.
Wow.
And it would progressively get more. And in fact, the 29th year, I probably did the entire month of October, and parts of December because George had gotten thrown from a horse.
Oh, I did not realize.
Farm in Virginia, and a horse farm, and he got thrown and broke it. And so I was back and forth to Washington every week.
So you were doing every week, and you got very well known, and so I hope well compensated for
I was.
Point.
They treated the guys treated me so well, and he ran a machine. No pun intended, but it was a great place to work, and it's so funny too because I watched the Today Show now, and I see Craig Melvin, and Craig used to sit across from me because he was doing the week for WRC, the local station there, and that's where he met Lindsay, and he and Lindsay Zarniak got married.
Oh wow, okay, so, nice. So, George Michael, it was always strange for me because I'm of that age. I'm a little bit behind you, but George Michael was a huge DJ
Legend.
on WABC. WABC, Harry Harrison, George Michael, and then of course there was like Cousin Brucey was on.
Well, let me tell you something. It's about first of all, George. I want to give him every accolade. God rest his soul, because he was really the precursor to ESPN and else. I mean, and everybody would laugh at him when he would do NASCAR racing.
Oh yeah,
and
he would show rodeo. He would show some offbeat sports that had big followings. Yeah,
but I was born in East Patterson, New Jersey, northern Jersey, right across the bridge. Literally the last exit off the bridge, and I grew up obviously listening to Mel Allen and Brucey. So about 4 years ago, Frank Fiore and I got together and we started a podcast called The Baby Boomer Report. And we would talk to people in their 70s and late 60s, early 70s, still valuable, that were still doing their thing, that were still vibrant and contributing to society.
Yeah.
And first interview was a former Mouseketeer, who's a drummer, and I mean, stories. Well, I interviewed Cousin Brucey, and I have to tell you, you and I have been so blessed. I mean, I've interviewed presidents and spent time with Ali, months and months and months and years with Ali and Manley, you name them, Marino. I was like a kid around Cousin Brucey. It was just like Cousin Brucey. And it was fantastic.
So but George Michael made a transition from AM radio, and he became a huge sportscaster in the Washington D.C. area. And in the same way, we've made similar transitions. You went from being WTVJ at the time, it was Channel 4, now it's Channel 6, but Bernie Rosen, God rest his soul. I mean, it was just such a powerhouse juggernaut sports operation that it gave all the newspapers and all the reporters who were well sourced. You gave us a run for scoops because you guys put in. You were tight
tried
with all,
to. Yeah, we tried to.
And there's some places the print totally despised the broadcasters. They thought they were all just hairdos and makeup
and get nice suits and sit there.
But you guys, we respected as real reporters, and I think down here we had that really kind of nice relationship. So where we always respected you guys, I think respected.
My God, yeah, it was fondest memories of doing what we did was, being able to be with you and Mitch Albom and Dave Hyde and Ed Pope and Mike Puka. I mean, legendary people in the world of sports writing and sportscast. It was an amazing time. So it was. But George was amazing transition, and
but for you, I mean, you and I did it later on, but you went from just sports to being a general news, anchor. And, I did the same thing later on where I went to the Metro desk. But for you, again, people of a certain age, and I can't believe how many years it's been that was 30th anniversary last summer of Hurricane Andrew, that fateful night. And for those of you watching on whether it's Let's Eat South Florida or South Florida Live networks, Tony was the man who guided us through that really frightful night. I remember that the other stations kind of lost their signals, and you and Brian Norcross, who at the time was the meteorologist for WTVJ, hunkered down and was able to keep broadcasting, and it was also on AM radio. Just tell us your recollections about that night and the aftermath and what it meant to you as a journalist to be able to do that night, and I guess just what kind of feedback you got.
We have to throw Kelly Craig in because Kelly was with us at the time. I mean, there's some interesting backstory now, and I'll fill everybody in. How Brian and I wound up doing that was a confluence of happenings that today would never happen. Or Brian was basically done. They told him 2 weeks before Andrew hit that they were going to replace him. Wow. So he was already looking for another job. And the day that Andrew hit, he was supposed to fly to his next place to be interviewed for a job. I was just a sports guy. So Andrew's, bearing down on us, and they go, Brian, you're going to have to get us through this. And then they call me in and they go, would you be willing to sit with Brian during this storm? I go, yeah. What about the anchor? They go, he left.
I didn't realize that. I thought you'd already graduated. At that time, you basically were the sports guy who's a gamer.
He went
okay, put me in, coach.
He went home. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, he didn't feel comfortable staying here. I go,
oh no,
I guess he had a
that's
wife
the
and
job.
family
Yeah,
or
but that's
whatever,
the job.
wife and family, and had never been through one, and said, I'm going. And he left. So she said, would you be okay sitting in? I said, I've lived here most of my life, and I know what hurricanes are. What's the worst that could happen?
Honestly, yeah.
So little did we know, and little did Brian and I, especially because Brian was looking for another job, and I was, in a new spot, that it would change our lives.
Right.
I mean, change our lives. I mean, it changed the lives of so many.
Well, it's life altering in a really negative way for so many people.
But even that negative moment became a positive for many people. Pembroke Pines and Weston would not be what Pembroke Pines I remember stories of pregnant women whose husbands were, firefighters or police officers who couldn't be home, and they're 9 months and what they're going through, and how we're telling them to get in a bathtub with mattresses over their head. I mean, just remarkable. And then the aftermath was just.
Yeah. I still remember. I took a day trip with my daughter, my lovely 16-year-old Natalia.
Beautiful
she's
young girl on Facebook.
So
be a proud papa.
I am a proud papa. I'm very, very blessed. But she was on spring break. I couldn't get away for any overnight trip, so we did a day trip to the Keys on Monday earlier this week. We had a wonderful time. Did some hikes around the Pennicamp Park and Long Key Park, and had some stone crabs and marathon, these fisheries. But as we were driving, I basically told her about Hurricane Andrew, which is obviously before she was born, and just how when we were driving, we went to Now some cinnamon rolls. But I was describing, I'll never forget this moment. I was covering the Dolphins at the time, and the Dolphins, a group of them took like a trip down to the devastated area. There was a tent city set up in where, the National Guard had set up, and kind of
where the Indians were going to play, actually, where the base.
Yeah, they were going to build that stadium there. They built it, and the Indians had bailed up, but they had it as an emergency kind of, it was like a refugee camp. The Dolphins went for a visit. I will never forget going down on this shuttle with them, just seeing the devastation as further and further south. The roofs were just peeled off. Structures were gone. And as one office building, I'll never forget, it was kind of South Kendall as you get Homestead. It was like maybe a 6-story office building. I remember it looked like the whole side had been twisted or sheared open with a can opener, and the whole walls were open, and all you saw was like office and things just completely naked, exposed to the elements. I told her about that image, and then we drove by the building, which has been rebuilt, and amazed about oh, really? And it's just a reminder of the power of these storms, and hopefully the building code is better, but we're just crossing our fingers that the big one never comes.
Well,
here.
Andrew, because of Andrew, we have FEMA. There was no FEMA.
Yeah.
I remember I took my wife. We flew down to Homestead in a helicopter, and we flew over the devastation. And there was this acres of just leveled. It was like it was like God had just taken his did one of those things. But I remember being on the ground, and there was an elderly gentleman with a little hack, and opened his hatchback and had a little tent up, had a Bunsen burner with a little pot on it, and cups and serving soup. And I said, "Sir, can I what's up?" And he goes, "I live in Tampa." He goes, and I saw the devastation, and I felt compelled. I had to do something. So he drove Homestead, put this little Bunsen burner in a tent up, and serving soup in a cup to people, just handing it to people. He felt he just needed to do something.
There was an outpouring
because Lubie, there was, Mike can contribute to this. There was just nothing but chaos.
Yeah. I remember.
The fights and the battles over ice was
water was scarce, ice was scarce. There was no power for months. It was a real mess.
And a big decision. You talk about sports, how sports is real life. I remember the big decision. Tents. First of all, the national. It seemed like overnight they built this tent city, and everybody's in city and they're being fed, and whether it's peanut butter sandwiches or whatever, but they're being taken care of as they can. And that weekend, there was supposed to be a university, and the city officials and University of Miami officials felt like we could very easily cancel this, and no one would say a word.
Mm-hmm.
But they all thought that everybody had action for about 4 hours.
Right.
It's going to be on the radio. Right. Everybody had transistor radios, so they played the game.
Yeah, and it made that feeling of normalcy.
It really did for 4 hours.
Same thing after 9/11.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly. So it was life defining for many, and life disaster for many.
Yeah, and for you, it led to new avenues and new opportunities. And Gulfstream Park, it's the lunchbox. Sarah is feeling better was agonizing pain, we were going with Defo and Tony Segreto,
Yes,
which
sir.
would have been a meeting of the legends,
Nice.
likes of which had never been seen before. But instead,
Lubie in the making.
Yeah,
Lubie
I'm
is a
working on
legend
it.
in the
Trying to be
making.
like you
We
guys.
love Lubie. But sorry, Defo, you're getting Wally pipped right now. Maybe we'll keep Segreto on.
Hey, this is
Full
a Friday
time.
thing now. You're off.
But hey, so I don't know the lunchbox. What we do it here Fridays. It's time for our weekly contest. This is before I get into that. I just want to express condolences on the behalf of all of us at the lunchbox. Joe Beja, who is the director of food and beverage here at Gulfstream,
care of
such
us and
great
all of
care of
you.
us. Make sure all the contest winners get well taken care of. Their Sunday brunches. Lost his dad this week. After a struggle, a battle with cancer. We do send our condolences to the entire Beja family.
There with you, Joe.
Joe is not at the track today, but ever the professional, he is making sure that we're going to get fed some food later on in the show. Tony will be, feeded with some of the Ten Palms finest fare because it's a Friday during Lent. I did put in the request for fish.
Fish has to be
Because,
fish.
you know, Tony, good Catholic. Me, I'm a Jew that pretends to be Catholic sometimes because my ex-wife are Catholic. They give up things for Lent. I've given up alcohol for Lent. I've done a pretty admirable job.
Yeah.
Nice.
And
In like 30 days, you've done 3 times. Which
led
isn't
to
bad.
no weight loss and absolutely change in my general demeanor. I'm still as feisty, cranky as ever.
Because according to the Catholic Church, and once you're my age, you don't have to give anything up to do.
They give dispensation to the
dispensation.
well,
But
health or
I still
whatever.
follow it. But it was about 10 years ago. No, it's probably 5 years ago. I said to Rosanna, my wife, I go, I'm tired of giving things up. And I really am. I'm a devout Catholic, and we have a deep faith in our family. And I said things up. I said, I'm going to reverse the trend. She goes, how come? I said, instead of giving things up, something to my life that takes a little effort, I'm going to add doing things for people rather than preventing myself from.
I like that.
Having. Yeah,
I like
so
that.
I started doing that, and it's been more gratifying. Giving up my favorite cereal or my favorite pot, whatever the case might be.
Well, I like that. I like that concept of sometimes deny yourself advice for a
It's
greater
fine.
thing, but also to at the same time do a little more.
Well, when you do a little more,
Googling.
it's still a sacrifice. It's just a different kind of sacrifice.
Yeah.
Positive, yeah.
And it's amazing how. Again, I'm not going to get into the philosophy of all this, but it's amazing how a little smile, what it does to people.
Oh yeah, I know when I smile, people are shocked.
They hear a crack waves. Exactly.
It's like
But meanwhile, no, that's great. And you could do like I do, like 2 years ago, because I always go along with the family. And I said, this year I'm giving up rutabagas. And it was a really tough.
I tried that with capers one year, and it didn't fly.
Didn't fly. Man, I didn't realize that. First of all, I guess that Lent is suspended on Sundays and people can eat what they gave up. And then I didn't realize with St. Patty's Day last week falling on a Friday that Cardinal Wensky gave special discs for people to eat corned beef.
Either it is or it isn't.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I still my stuff. But it's funny you talk about, Sunday. This Anna is in Michigan. Her mom is doing well, and so I said, "What am I going to eat?" I'm being Italian. There isn't an Italian boy. I can't cook. I'm married to the cook, so it's like I never in the kitchen. She'd give me the look. So I go, you know what? I'm looking for some Mimi's mozzarella.
Ooh,
nice.
Mimi's in Hollywood.
So
one of the best
It is
markets.
the best market.
I go in there. I can't resist $200.
Oh, easy. I only go when
calories.
Rosanna's not here because if she's here, she goes, no, I'll go. Because I'm the same
You
way.
go crazy.
So I go in, see Frankie Boy and Linda's son, one of the sons. Anthony's out in the back making food, and I of hot, warm ciabatta bread.
Nice.
2 big tomatoes, mozzarella, some basil. In heaven. I went home. I had the caprese salad. It was like, I'm done.
That's great.
I
love
absolutely
Mimi's rabbit. Some of those classic Italian markets. Seems the mom and pops are falling by the wayside. That's still there. It's as good as ever.
We have enough of them down
No,
there.
no,
I've
no.
been the Boca, actually
Boynton. There's
Boynton. There's
Palermo's.
Joseph's Market, there's Palermo's, and there's a place in Delray that's fantastic called The Boys. I've been doing some work on this Best of Delray Beach app. Hi, Dixie. The Boys, it's run by a brothers from Staten Island. They've got, it's like Italian heaven. It's like it's beautiful.
I miss Lorenzo's. I talk to
Lorenzo's
Dave
great,
Lorenzo all the
Yeah,
time.
Dave's great.
But so I walk in. This past Sunday was St. Joseph's.
Right.
I walk in to get all the mozzarella and the stuff. I go to Frankie. I go, I need to get a Zeppeli, in honor of St. Joseph's. So he goes, well, do you want cannoli cream or St. Joseph's custard? I don't know. He goes, well, for me, I have to have a taste of either one, a little bit of both. I said, well, okay, fine. It put 2 nice sized Zeppelis in a box. And you know me, I try to eat healthy. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to have a taste. If Rosanna saw this, she'd go, you're not going to eat the whole thing. Anyway, so it's Sunday night and I'm watching TV and I had my salad, my sandwich. I had a couple of cocktails. At the end of Sunday night, I look at the box and I destroyed these 2 Zeppelis.
You can afford that. Look at you. You're like a
So yeah, I destroyed these. But anyway, if you're into the old time Italian market, Mimi's is the place
ravioli.
to
I
be.
guess it's on. Is it? I forget the street.
Johnson.
Johnson Street, just east of 440, 150,
Yeah.
900 block,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
We love Mimi's ravioli. Hey, so this contest that we were
Yeah,
talking
I
about,
mean,
we're going to
interrupt
get to
you.
the first.
Our
You're
first
going to
clue.
love this week's restaurant. So,
Okay.
and people figured it out because Dave Joe, publicity director, my former colleague at the Sunset,
Yeah, I know.
great guy. He's like, I want to get new people involved with racing, your food lovers. So what we came up with is this weekly contest. It gives away 2 Sunday brunch vouchers at 10 Palms, right above us. Gorgeous place overlooking the track, and you get that Sunday brunch buffet. Hang out all day, play the races. You get a little omelet, you get a little carvery, you get dessert. Beautiful thing. Includes the contest. Each winner, the 2 vouchers get a mimosa included. Yep, that's a good deal. And then the way it works is 2 parts to the contest. One is we give a series of clues for the weekly restaurant of the week. You one restaurant, then you're going to want to give pick a winning horse for this week's featured. Every week we have one, and this week's featured race here at Gulfstream tomorrow. It's the 10th race on a race card. It's the the Med Colors Stakes. 5 furlongs on the turf for fillies, and it is a full field. It's going to be 12. Right now, there's 13 entrants. There's an also eligible. So you pick the number 1 and 13, and if there's a scratch, you get the post time. But the winning, the name of the restaurant plus the winning horse for tomorrow's featured race will be a number between 1 and 13. Well, we got a savvy crew here. They actually look at the form. They do their handicapping and the actual name of the horse. That's impressive.
That would have.
Yes.
I mean, it's like a mind scavenger hunt.
Yes.
It is. It's a mini
And people
scavenger
do
hunt.
well, actually.
It's been very popular. Talk about the show, and then I post the clues later in the day on the group. It gives more people a chance if they don't want to listen to the whole show. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, they're still involved.
You're missing so much by
Yes.
not listening to us. But and again, once you get the restaurant name for the weekly clues and the winning pick for that Saturday's race, then you send both components by email to me at mikemayoeats@gmail.com. mayoeats@gmail.com. How's that for an appropriate handle? I eat a lot. And again, you got to get those entries in by noon tomorrow, not 12:05, 3:15, not Monday morning. And this has happened, Tony. People, the contest, entries on a Monday morning, and they got a horse wrong.
Well, this is going to be an interesting week, but the week after when you have the contest,
The Derby.
that's Florida Derby week,
day.
and
Yeah,
that's
that
going
one,
to be.
There's going to be a lot of forte. They're all going to like a beast right now. But that's going to be next week. It's going to be a really nice day next week. Florida Derby Eve, and that card is unbelievable. All stakes races.
When I was, I used to cover horse racing.
You love the ponies.
I love
and
the
Hank
ponies.
loved
I
the ponies.
absolutely love the ponies. My wife and I were at the Belmont. We'll go. In fact, today I told her I was coming here. She said, "Oh, look at the." She said, I don't have a racing form here. Let me know what's there." Available. So anyway, but in the 70s, I mean, I was just a huge Secretariat fan.
Yeah.
First of all, I love horses. I owned my own horse, and it was just, I love Secretariat. Well, and I'm a bourbon guy. So Woodford Reserve every year has a Kentucky Derby edition.
Yep.
And this on the bottle is Secretariat.
Oh, sweet.
So trying to get it
50
down
years,
here.
right?
Yeah, 50. Listen,
Big
think
Red.
about what happened 50 years ago. You had the 72 Dolphins.
Yeah.
Right. You got Secretariat. I mean, Andrew. I mean, think about the importance of
Oh,
what
looks
they
like
did.
food is on the way. Okay. Yeah.
Look
Yeah.
at
Drop. Yeah. Pork sandwich. Yeah. Thank you so much. And again, this is in the absence of Joe B. We got a fish sandwich for Tony.
Nice.
Awesome.
And
And a
we've got
chicken
the
sandwich.
50th anniversary of Secretary.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much.
You
This
you.
is the finest that
We
10 Palms
appreciate
has
it.
the offer. Got the fish sandwich there for Tony. I'll
Thank
do
you.
that. We'll split it up
We'll
later.
do a
But
whole
meanwhile,
thing,
yeah,
but
we
I
got
do
to
want
get
the
this
clue.
contest.
You're moving around.
I know.
You guys are unbelievable.
We're teasing. You're gonna love this one, Lubie.
I'm
Okay.
ready.
All right, I'm
For
looking
this
forward
week's
to this.
contest, we're
Mhm.
taking out the South Beach. Okay, clue number.
Okay.
This Miami Beach offshoot of a trendy New York City Italian restaurant pays homage to classic New York American restaurants, but with much higher pricing. Signature
And to watch this
include
on
an
TV.
$89 veal chopped Parmesan that's sliced into quarters with a pizza cut. I know,
I think we all know.
$34 spicy rigatoni vodka, and my order, 32 pieces of the house-made al dente
Love
pasta
that you counted it.
tubes, and that's more than $1 per macaroni.
Exactly. We track.
So that's clue
my
number
God.
one.
If anyone's watched this, you already know it. But
Anybody box regular this week?
we talked.
This is what you call a layup slam
Yes,
dunk.
a slam dunk, a grand
But
slam.
sometimes we like gimmies.
Absolutely.
Still
Don't
got to
we-
do they still have to do the race. So.
They still got
The race part.
Hey,
So.
maybe you never know. All right, so again, we're in South Beach, Miami
What a
Beach.
great contest.
offshoot
What a great
It's a lot of fun.
of a
People really enjoy
trendy
it.
New York City Italian restaurant pays homage to New York Italian American restaurants, but with a much higher price tag. Signature items include an $89 veal chop Parmesan and a $34 rigatoni alla vodka. My order this week had 32 pieces of the homemade al dente pasta tubes. That's more than $1 per macaroni, and that's a lot of.
I know we're paying for the rent, but $2.
89.
Marron is right.
89
for a veal chop.
parm. Veal chop parm.
What
that,
that veal better have been hanged.
Massaged by like the high-priced masseuses. And
That's great.
it
And
is-
listen,
it's
it's a great
crazy.
place, but that's crazy price.
And we got more clues coming up, and we've got to take care of some business now.
Yeah,
Tony.
absolutely.
You know, one of the things we do, we got the first race coming up. We're going to be doing a little bit of handicapping. We're going to finish the contest. We're going to eat some of this great people at 10 Palms.
That was so nice of
put
them to
together
bring
for
that
us.
out.
And I see on my left, Jim Sarney is in the house.
Where?
He just ambled up. Jim Sarney, former Sun Sentinel College in the
Sarney.
and we're going to get him to sit in. But
Sarney.
I got to talk about Tropical Acres Steakhouse. Do you like Tropical Acres,
Yeah,
Tony?
it's been a
Do you
while
go
since
there?
I've been there. You talk about a legend. Holy Lord.
74 years. It's
God bless him.
older than Defo. I like to kind of rag on him about that, but just barely older than
Heck, it's
Defo's.
older than me.
I'm not going to get into that. You are here in one piece. Defo, I can rag on. His little paw was hurting him. He's got to go for some
Oh,
treatment
my
today.
gosh.
We wish him well and a speedy recovery. Tennis for an hour and a half after not playing for 3 or 4 months. Defo.
Right, exactly.
That's the lesson. You ease your way back. You play one set, you see how it feels. Anyway, Tropical Acres, one of those old school. You know, you call your segments on the Defo show old school. I call Tropical Acres old school, and in my vernacular, that is one of the highest compliments because it means they do things right. They're not all about the bucks and the money. They're about taking care of them in the right way. They have quality, service, value. Tropical Acres is at 2500 Griffin Road. The Studiali family, they will take great care of you. Sons Joe and Jackson, they're at the front of the house. Tonight's perfect night to go in there, celebrate another week, celebrate another day of living in paradise. There, they have happy hour in the bar, even on a Friday night from 4:30 to 6:30. You can't beat the deals. Half price drinks, and it's not just like the house brands. You go top I get my Belvedere martinis when I'm drinking there for like $7.50.
How
It's
can you beat that?
unbelievable.
First, anybody, if I can interrupt, anybody does anything for 74 years is doing it right.
They're doing
You know,
something right.
especially in this.
So I love Tropical Acres. You got the prime rib, you got the filet mignon, rack of lamb, all the great seafood. And don't forget, they're usually closed on Sundays. Their normal hours are from, the Mondays through Saturdays, but Easter Sunday they are open from 8 p.m. Book your Easter Day reservations now by calling 954-929-2500, 989-2500. I should know these things by heart now, Tony. I'm getting a little soft,
tell you what,
a little
though,
older. But go to tropicalacres.com and you can see all the info to book for Easter now or any night. Tropical Acres, tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Oh, and we'll be back on the Lunchbox with co-host extraordinaire, local legend, Tony Segreto.
People come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. You go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the black and grilled wings, and of course, the kitchens are open late. Go there, tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent. Mayo here for Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. Since 1951, family owned for over 70 years, the home of freshness. I've been a customer for over 3 decades, and it's the place to go for poultry, steaks, meats, and of course, their unbelievable selection of fish and seafood. They've got it all. Key West pink shrimp, grouper, snapper, lobster, and of course, Florida stone crab claws of all sizes. Don't forget their famous fish dip and a full selection of prepared foods. It's located at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood, just across from the Seminole Classic Casino. Owner Doug Carter and crew will take great care of you. Make sure to check out their weekly specials and daily catch online at DelawareChicken.com. Quality, value, freshness, that's the Delaware way. Tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. Do you like pizza? Who doesn't like pizza? Well, my spot for pizza is the Pizza Spot. It's in that little bit hard to find Riverside Park neighborhood of Fort Lauderdale, but it's totally easy to love. It's at 601 Southwest 12th Avenue, New Haven style, a pizza from Wade and Reese. It's a lovely outdoor spot. You could also pick up pies to go at 754-779-7788, 754-779-7788. Again, they're open every day but Monday for lunch and dinner. Some of the best pizza I've ever had. Go to Pizza Spot. They also have subs, salads, and more. Tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, that's my spot. It's upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you.
All right, we're back on the Lunchbox. We're at Gulfstream Park. It's getting close to the first race post time. I have not looked at a form.
I'm going to look real quick. I'll tell you what, this food is excellent.
Oh, good. We've got, again, the 10 Palms Sunday Brunch Contest. We're going to be giving away another pair of Sunday Brunch. And every week we come out on the Friday. We get well taken care of. And this time they sent out a couple of sandwiches.
I was told I could eat.
You're allowed to eat. This is the Lunchbox. We encourage eating on the show. Usually when I'm the one doing the eating, Lubie has horrified looks and sometimes rushes over to take the food away from me before I dig in with my paws.
I have heard.
Today, look, this is what I admire about you TV broadcast professionals and veterans, because I also do a segment with Nikki Mohan. I don't know if you know Nikki at all.
Well. Yep.
You know, she used to be on Channel 10. Now she's working for Visit Lauderdale, the Convention and Visitors Bureau. We do segments where we go out to local restaurants and spotlight all the different diverse cultures. And whenever we have a food broadcast, she loves to chow down, but she does it so elegantly when we're on the air. She cuts and chews and things don't go over the place. When I do it, so you got to wear a bib and sometimes a hazmat suit. But you are also, like Nikki, very elegant eater. You're eating with your fork and knife. So well done.
Thank you.
And we appreciate
my mother, God rest her soul, would be proud.
Me, look at me. I've got, it looks like I'm a 4-year-old. I've got torn up chin here in the bun.
Don't you try some of this stuff?
I'm going to put my, not even going to put it in my mouth today out of respect to Tony. Because
no.
You
gotta eat, man. You got to go for it, brother.
It's just... don't be a slob because Lubie wants to try it too.
That's a very big request. Well, look at that. And they got the aioli, which I got dipped in there because they love that. And we've got Jim Sarney in the house.
Yeah, it's so nice to see Jim. My gosh.
Thanks for coming up. Sarney is the Svengali. He the hidden talent that he always is feeding us details of what big sports events are coming up, what food holidays it is. I think today is National Cheesesteak Day.
That's what Andy was saying.
National what day?
Cheesesteak. I don't know how you feel about cheesesteaks.
Would be good, Tony. It would be good to have a microphone.
I am. I'm a guy who I'll eat my share of cheesesteaks, especially at our great sponsor, Brian, Wicked Cheesesteaks and Wings, and up in Fort Lauderdale. We're going to be doing a Moat show there in a couple of weeks. He makes fantastic cheesesteaks because his wife is from the Philadelphia area. My friend Tom T, he's celebrating by making some special cheesesteaks at his pop-up, Tom's Louisiana Kitchen, up at the Nobo Brewery today in Point Beach. And usually he's specializing in Creole and gumbos and
Louisiana
Cajun food, and he's doing a crawfish boil tomorrow down at Deerfield Beach at the Anchors Away. But today he posted on Facebook a picture of a very nice, luscious-looking cheesesteak. So if you're up in Palm Beach, go to Tom T. If you're in Broward, go to Brian at Wicked Cheesesteaks there on North Federal Highway. It's very conveniently located, Tony, right across from Holy Cross Hospital.
Oh, yeah.
So when I get my clean bill of health from my cardiologist, I go right across the street And
you're allowed.
Not a cheesesteak.
Well, it's funny. When our son was looking for a college, we went to visit Villanova and Penn. And Penn is obviously in the heart of Philadelphia, so we had to get Philly cheese. Went into this argument, not he and people going, well, you got to go here, you got to go there. And they're basically the two top across the street from each other. So we figured, well, heck, we're just going to do a little bit of both.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Pat and Gino's.
Why not?
Yeah.
That's it. YOLO. So meanwhile, Tony, and this is something that's fascinating to me. I love to kind of see the food habits of people. There are no wrong answers.
No, there aren't.
But I'm seeing him put yellow mustard, which Defo detests yellow mustard in any shape, way, or form. But you're putting yellow mustard on top of your fish fillet.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
So explain that to me, because I've seen sauce, I've seen garlic aioli, I've seen, just a squeeze of lemon. I don't think I've ever seen mustard on fish.
I like to mix it up. Like when
Okay.
I make egg salad, I mix a little ricotta cheese and yogurt instead of mayo.
Okay, so you're a food weirdo, and I like that.
Yeah, I am a food weirdo. There's no question about it.
You should look at me. I eat Skyline chili. People look at me like I got 5 heads because I like my.
Come on, you have to. When you go to Cincinnati, whether you like it or not, you have to experience.
Do you like it? Have you?
Yeah, it's fine. Is it what Are you going to want it on a cold day? Probably not. But I mean, I remember, God rest his soul, Sonny Hurst. We would go get Skyline chili, or as Sonny would call it, Scalini. and then from there we would go to White Castle.
Oh, that's good. Sliders at White Castle. These
Yeah.
all these kind of like, I call them my guilty pleasure foods.
Yeah.
I've had this debate. Defo thinks that Skyline chili is basically, I don't want to say the words during lunch hour, but he just thinks it's like stuff that you could change the oil of your engine with that, use that. And I just say it's been hopelessly mislabeled because it's really a Greek immigrant dish. That it's not traditional Texas-style chili with beans.
Oh yeah,
and
there's
chunks
this
of
whole
beef.
debate
It's
about
a spaghetti sauce. It's
Yeah.
basically Greek meat sauce that you put on top of spaghetti.
Right.
So if they just called it Greek meat sauce with spaghetti, people would love it. But
Yeah.
instead they call it chili and then go, what's that? But
Well, it depends, and it also depends on where you're from now.
Yep.
Because being a northeastern guy, it was never sauce; it was always gravy.
Gravy.
And my wife, being of Italian heritage from the Midwest, it's sauce. So we always have this battle: gravy or sauce.
well,
but-
whether it's gravy or sauce, it's better than ketchup putting on.
Well, exactly. And you know what? There's always a battle between chili anyway. Beans or no beans. What is real chili?
Right.
Right.
It's subjective. It's whatever you like. Meanwhile, I hear the roar of the crowd behind us. It
We're
means
coming
the
down the
first
stretch.
race went off. Both me and you were very derelict in our degenerate duties.
Extremely
Because
derelict.
we did not get a bet down. If it was Defo, you know what Defo does? Right in the middle of the show, he races up to the window right there. He starts laying down his bets. Doesn't matter that we're actually on the air, and then it leaves it to me and Lubie to just kind of fill in the gap. Me, I'm just enraptured with talking to Tony Segreto here on the Lunchbox, talking about your past.
I just love talking food.
Well, now you've reached my world because you did sports to news. I did sports to news, but then I went one step beyond, which was at the very end of my 31-year career at the Sun Sentinel. I had the opportunity, and I took it, to become the restaurant critic, food critic of the paper. And I viewed it as, number one, food has always been my passion. Number two, if somebody gives me a company credit card and says, go eat wherever you want and write about it, that's like my dream world. Is especially like, all right, sports was great, going to Super Bowls on somebody's dime, but getting paid to go eat everywhere was great. And also with the way the newspaper business was going, I just regarded it, I told people that it was like, basically, I'm going up to the midnight buffet on the Titanic. So,
And exactly. And you know what else? Everybody weighs in on food. Every
100%.
every single person weighs in on how they feel about food. Everybody's palate's different.
well, here's the thing. I don't know what it was like when you jumped from sports to everything and just being the general news anchor. Were people like, are you crazy? Why would you do that? You're in the greatest world.
It was, and people didn't talk to me in the newsroom who are my friends. They're going, what's the sports guy doing news for?
Yeah. I got a lot of people saying, why would you give that up? You got to go to travel to the Final Four and the Masters every year.
People,
What do you want to start?
People were like all over. How
But I
can
just
you
said
do this?
it's time to get a little bit real and maybe just broaden one's horizons.
It was like, when our son is 28 or 4, when our son chose to go to Notre Dame, all my guys go, "What the heck? What are you doing?" I go, "What do you mean? What am I doing? Let's be real, guys. Regardless of where he goes, it's irrelevant. He's not going to determine the battle between Notre Dame and Miami, and he's going to get a great education and learn to live on his own."
Yeah.
I was like, "Come on, really?"
Yeah, you can't. That whole tribal aspect of the sports gets a little much, but for me, I mean, I got a lot of people saying, "Why would you go to news?" And then some people say, "What the heck do you know about anything?" And stay in your lane.
Right. Oh,
and
yeah,
then I
me
explained
too.
to them that I was actually a Soviet and Eastern European studies major, studied Russian language at Tufts University, and sports I just fell into. Like once the Soviet Union broke up, all my knowledge of Kremlinology became useless.
Well, antiquated.
But
It may not be antiquated anymore.
right. So the bottom line was, I just wanted to do something different, and it's good to do that, I think. And then when it came to food, Tony, talk about a marriage made in heaven. I mean, this is my passion, and I would get the same thing. It was like, how could you go? We love reading your columns, and you were hard hitting, and you would keep the politicians honest, and
Right.
And I was like, yeah, I said, but food is just as important. Even my mother was like saying, it's fluff, and I said, Mom, I said no, I said food is culture, and I said.
Yeah.
You can go 4 years without voting, but you try going 4 years without eating.
Go a day without eating.
And you know what? I mean, I know there's not any newsers watching this, but honest to God, news was so much easier than sports.
Oh, that's funny.
And secondly, the best reporters I have ever known have all been sports reporters.
Oh, that's funny.
There are very few news reporters that wow me.
Interesting.
Richard Engel for NBC wows me. Guy's incredible. But if you can do sports,
because it's breaking. It's like
It's
you're
everything
up against it on deadlines and night games, and you got to be quick on the fly.
Mhm.
And you got to be a good reporter, and you got to be willing to travel, and
right.
all those things that make good reporting.
Exactly. And you have to
Start
know
off.
the games and how they work and all the things they do. And be a good reporter, you have to be curious and nosy. And sports guys are curious and
Just by
nosy.
nature. Yep.
Just by nature.
Yeah.
So, when you get to
A little bit of wreck sometimes.
not
Not afraid to ruffle
and we were
feathers.
treated much differently than news people. That's why I told the story, and I'll make it real quick. My first full day, Mike. Okay, my
Yes,
first full
Mr.
day on
40 years
as a news guy.
on
My
news.
first full day, I get up in the morning and see that Gianni Versace was murdered,
And that's crazy.
and already news people are looking at me going like,
Oh, this guy.
"What is Segreto doing here?" And I'm thinking to myself, "My God, I got to do something. How in the world am I going to make a mark here?" I mean, Gianni Versace, I don't even wear his clothes. I'm talking to my wife. I'm going, I don't know. She said, "You must know somebody. You must know somebody." My phone rings, and it's a chef I know. He bounced around from restaurant to restaurant, and I go, "Hey, man, where are you now?" And we talk. I said, "So, anything I can do for you? What are you calling for?" He says, "Well, I thought you might be interested. I'm Versace's personal chef.
Oh wow!
Would you like an exclusive interview?" I was there when he got shot.
Oh, geez.
Wow!
So I met him in an alley
There you go.
and did an interview, and it was like, wow.
There you go. You never know who's going to
You
be
never-
that source
you
that
never
gives you
know.
that scoop, and sometimes it comes through sports channels. Sometimes it comes through the food
It does.
network.
How about my daughter? When she lives in Astoria, she loves Astoria. It's a food capital of New York. Really
all
is.
the Greek food. I used to go to a place called
it's-
Elias Corner in
Yeah,
Astoria. It's great.
Listen, it's the United Nations of food.
Oh yeah.
So she's looking for apartments, and she says to us, "Hey, I'm going to go look at one today. It's right above a pizzeria." So my wife goes, "Done deal." I go, "What are you talking about?" She said, "Anthony, they'll look out for her. Been there since 1958. It's called Nicky's. 2 brothers from Italy, speak broken English. Took her in, showed her the apartment they own. She's there. She pops in, gets a slice.
Nice.
It's
Nice.
fantastic.
That's nice,
It's
yeah.
all started with food.
It
So
all boils down to food. And hey, we got to do one more contest.
Oh, yeah,
Crew.
we
We got
gotta
to
do
do
that
another
contest.
break. So again, it's time for the weekly contest for Brunch for 2 at 10 Palms. You know the drill. You're going to give us a number between 1 and 13 for the winner of tomorrow's Medley of Colors Stakes. That's going to be the 10th race on tomorrow's card, Saturday, March 25th. And then you're going to give me the winning restaurant name for, all right, the first clue was this Miami Beach offshoot of a trendy New York Italian restaurant pays homage to classic New York Italian-American restaurants, but with a much higher price tag. Signature items include an $89 veal chop Parmesan and $34 spicy rigatoni, which has 32 pieces of rigatoni.
You actually
That's more than
counted the
That's how
pieces.
small it
This
was
is
that
the
he
kind of
counted.
meticulous reporting I do when I go out on meals.
that
My
is-
daughter was looking at me like I was a freak.
See, I
She's
would
like,
do
"Dad,
that.
what are you doing?" I said, "I'm counting how many macaronis are on my
I
plate."
would do that.
Yeah,
I
because it seemed like, look,
Well,
it was
for
great food.
$40 for pasta,
Well,
you shouldn't be able to count it.
$34, and I figured, pasta.
You shouldn't be able to count
You
it.
can buy a whole pound at certain places when it's
Exactly.
Buy a
BOGO
damn
for
cow.
79 cents. So yeah. So, all right, that's clue number 1. Clue number 2: this restaurant is not named for a character in Goodfellas, but instead for one of the 2 founding chef partners of Major Food Group, which is the owner and operator of this restaurant and its Lower Manhattan flagship outlet. The restaurant has also branched into a global luxury brand with other locations in Las Vegas, Hong Kong, and Dallas, Texas. So
Okay.
again, not named for a character in Goodfellas, named for one of the 2 founding chef partners of Major Food Group, which operates this and others
Those
of
are
the
great
same
clues,
name
by the way.
in Las Vegas. Thank you.
Maybe
Defo
he's
always
giving it
hates
away.
my clues.
I
Defo
believe he's
does
giving it
nothing
away.
but rag
Defo
on me.
complains about
You're
you being-
hired. Defo, you're out. You're Wally Pippen, man. That's it. You're done.
That's a great clue. Listen, I think it's.
Thank
I
you.
prefer to look at the glass half full.
We were
There you
aware.
go.
We're
I-
well
See, that's
aware.
you. You're the rose-colored glass guy. I used to be the negative Nelly, Tony. But let me tell you something.
Things have changed.
I've
right?
had an epiphany in the last few weeks.
You got to
I've
check
given
his
up
what you-
alcohol.
you got the last few
I
weeks.
got a huge settlement check from an insurance company that totally botched things, and they settled this court case. And there's nothing worse than litigation. There's nothing better than having
Scoring, yeah.
settled litigation in a way that's favorable to me and not the insurance company. So life is good, and we got to do one more break now. And it's going to be, before we do that, we have to talk about our Delaware seafood and chicken farm in 191 North State Road 7. We were out there
Another
yesterday.
legendary place.
Another old school legendary place. Well, they'll take great care of you. They care about customer service. They've been around also since, oh man, it's the 1950s. They have been in the same location since 1961. Doug and his whole crew there will take great care of you. And, we were out there yesterday. We had some fantastic things that I had never even known they had. This roasted chicken that was fantastic. They made lamb chops because of the spring holidays coming up, Easter and Passover. You could get all your lamb there. You could get brisket. But what they're best known for, besides the poultry, is the seafood. Things like the Florida stone crab claws in all sizes. We had crab cakes yesterday that were dynamite. Fresh fish, Key West pink shrimp, clams, oysters, whatever you want. They have it at Delaware Seafood and Chicken Farm. It's a legendary place. Just
Worth
like
stopping by.
worth
Honest to
stopping
God.
by.
You know what? Even if you don't buy anything, but you should, it's just worth the experience.
Oh, you go in there. Everything is immaculate in there. The display cases are beautiful, whether it's the beef, the chicken, the
Right.
seafood. They're open every day. They have curbside delivery if you don't want to go in the shop for whatever reason. That's understandable. But it's better to go in and see all the sights and smells and
Yeah.
the sounds of a beautiful market, local, fresh, delicious, good value. Go to DelawareChicken.com for all the weekly specials and daily offerings, and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. And we'll be back after these words, and we'll wrap up. I want to talk more food. We might have to go overtime with Tony
Whatever you want.
today because we haven't really delved deep into some of your favorite local restaurants, what you're looking for when you go out to eat, and maybe some places that you find overrated if you want to wade into the controversy pool. He's making a face. He's making a Mayo face. You don't have to do
There's
that.
one place for sure.
All right. We'll be back on the Lunchbox after these words.
Looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more? Go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 in the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, for tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6. The early bird special runs from 4:30 to 5:30, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Hey, it's Mike Mayo. When the Brooklyn boy in me wants a good bagel with Nova or some matzo ball soup, homemade knishes, or a great deli pastrami sandwich on rye, you know where I go? Grandpa's Cafe in Dania Beach. It's been around a long time, an institution, but a little over a year ago, a pair of New Yorkers came in, bought it, and refurbished the place. It's beautiful, and they are now serving great breakfast, brunch, lunch. They've got the omelets, they've got eggs Benedict, they've got all kinds of great baked goods like rugelach. Grandpa's is just off Federal Highway on Southwest 1st Street in Dania Beach. It's open 7 days. Go in there, tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally, and they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks, they're open every day but Tuesday. Go in there on a Wednesday. They got buy one, get one on cheesesteaks from 5 to 8 p.m. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the lunch.
Music. We might be on, we might be off, or maybe the universe is just somebody else's figment of an imagination. I don't know yet. Tony Segreto here.
Listen, I remember how many remotes I would be on, and I'd be blabbing away, and they go, we're not on.
We're not. Oh, it says he's the king of the blown remote. I feel like I'm gaining fast point, but it's all good.
Funny, I'd be in Japan and remotes would be perfect. I'd be in London, remotes would be perfect.
Yeah, around the corner.
Around the corner, it would be like
forget about it.
Yeah, you want monofilament and paper cups that talk into.
We have this wonderful technology, and it worked perfectly. Yesterday was great. We had clear sound, great picture at a every day is different, and it's what makes adventure. What makes food an adventure.
Absolutely.
And I want to get into the food, a little overtime today at Gulfstream with Tony Segreto. I'm going to finish up the clue because if you don't know it by now, you're probably never going to know it. 10 Palms Contest win. You send the winning horse tomorrow's feature race, the medley of colors, 10 through 13, or a name that comes winner, and then come up name of the week, and both components to me, Mike at gmail.com by noon tomorrow, and then if you're the only one who has the winning horse tomorrow and the only one with the winning restaurant, you win.
And if the food upstairs is anything like this, man,
it's good. You're happy with
oh my gosh, it was fantastic.
Got our chicken. It was nicely brined, had a lot of good flavor, and got to the pork sandwich yet. But all right, here we go. The final clue for this week's. We've taken my wallet, my daughter, my pocketbook, my 401k, Miami Beach offshoot of a trendy New York restaurant. That signature dishes are an $89 veal chop parmesan, a $34 spicy rigatoni a la vodka, 32 pieces fresh house-made pasta, more than $1 of macaroni. I'm still aghast at that. Restaurant not named for a character in Goodfellas, but one of the two founding chef partners of the restaurant in its Lower Manhattan flagship, along with Major Food Group, which is now a restaurant globally, places like Hong Kong, Las Vegas, Dallas. Finally, the restaurant is popular with celebrities, social media influencers, movers and shakers, featured on Instagram and TikTok, which is how my daughter became enamored. During last year's Miami Grand Prix, it set up a pop-up restaurant actually on South Beach. Did you hear about this?
Yeah.
Where they were charging $5,000 a person.
Oh, my God.
During the Grand Prix week. And some of the guests who came
Wasn't
by
like LeBron
and
and
ate that
Wade or whatever.
$5,000 plate dinner included LeBron James. And it's very expensive. That they charge more than $1 a macaroni. And guess how much dessert goes for there? Take a while.
$50
for two. Correct.
Oh, now they're
$25
good
for
you.
dessert.
What were the desserts?
For like
It comes with crack. So it's kind of good. My daughter enjoyed that. No, she took a chocolate cake home, and it's good, but I feel bad. $25.
Yeah,
I said,
it's like
Talia, this one's on me. We don't worry about money tonight. Anyway, regulars of the Lunchbox will know we've been talking about this place all week, and that is your gimme layup for the restaurant contest this week. Tony,
it's a gimme. Yes.
What are some of your value places? Where do you like going out to eat in town?
Well, obviously, both of us being Italian, both
Well,
parents.
I'm not Italian. I should be Italian. I'm
Both
kind
parents.
of in a half Italian neighborhood, and I could eat pasta every day.
Yeah, me
so,
too.
yeah.
Well, obviously, I did. But my wife is Sicilian. Her mom and dad are from Sicily, and mine were from Naples. And Italian. One Italian place we'll go to two, but the main one is Runway 84.
Yeah.
Anthony very well. We love the food. It's hometown cooking.
We do. I saw you in there
I
last
love
week.
I love the. You know what? I went in going. You know what? I'm kind of an old school guy, and I love the of the old place. But I thought what they've done is magnificent. I think
Looks
it's
gorgeous.
fantastic, and
I like the vibe.
I love the vibe. And so my son, daughter said, we read some reviews that was loud. I said, you know what? Again, this is my half full glass.
Mhm.
I said, I choose to look at it this way. When you go into a supper club,
Yeah.
you either say it has a lot of energy or it's loud. I choose to say it has a lot of energy.
Right.
And the energy that night was
Spectacular.
big. Huh?
No, it was spectacular.
It's
And you said, look, there's ways around it. They don't start live music till about 8 o'clock.
Right,
So if you want to
exactly.
avoid the louder part of the evening, you come inside. You were tucked away on the side of the bar, which seemed very nice and remote.
It was perfect.
They sat me. I got in the Merino room on that little it's a Sometimes they have private dining. That night they had tables set up for the general service. It was kind of off in the corner, so it was a little bit shielded from all the music, the noise of the dining room. I think that was a wonderful spot to sit in.
Food
is great.
Yeah, the food is fantastic. The drinks are awesome. The bartenders know what they're doing. Cindy's there on Friday, Saturday, and her martinis are off the hook.
And they have chicken parm for like $32, which places it's not your strip mall pizza joint where you're going to get a chicken parm for now it's $18 at those places. For $32 in that kind of atmosphere.
Yeah, exactly.
To me, is a good proposition. It's not $89.
It's great. Here's the other thing. If you all, and Mike knew going in, any of you like, that place is the swordfish.
That's
there.
Anthony Bruno's favorite dish. That's the only thing.
Runway 84. It was spectacular. The other Italian restaurant we'll go to is Precio's.
That's on University
in Sheridan. We've known Giancarlo and his entire family for eons, and parents, God rest their soul, they would. My father would sing at the piano, so I have great memories of that. They opened up we love Mediterranean food. We used to go to Al Salam, which is on Sunrise Boulevard. Now she just opened up in Davie and the Tar Center. It's wonderful. I discovered a German place by serendipity that's on Volunteer.
Really, all the way out west.
Griffin.
Is that
Griffin? It's called now. Since it's a German, it's called Wunderbar, but it's called Wunderbar.
It's in that shopping plaza that has Shamu's, one of my favorite ramen places out there.
Yeah, the ramen. I've
ever been in there?
But I've heard how.
If you like ramen, it is like Michelin star worthy ramen. I've never been in the Wunderbar.
Well, the schnitzel's great. It's very welcoming. And here's the thing. So this is how this all. So before Super Bowl, and my daughter was visiting, and we were some of her friends over, and let's try to find a good pretzel place because Philly Pretzel Heaven closed, which was on Griffin Road, and 441.
See, he's a West Broward guy. He knows all these pockets in West Broward.
So she says, I can't find anything. So I'm looking it up. A place called Wunderbar. So I go, and I talk. Listen, I hear you're just, oh my God, sir, the pretzels here are. I said, well, I figured you'd say that. She goes, no, they're amazing. So I said, well, let me ask you. I said, I want to get a couple pretzels. We're not going to bake. I don't want them hot now because can we bake them off later? Sure. I am not kidding. So she with 2 boxes, imagine a small pizza in the box,
but it's a pretzels.
It's a freaking pretzel. She put the salt on the side. She did the whole thing. It was. If you like pretzels,
and you were talking here. You've mentioned kebab place, a German place, Italian. This is part of why Neki Mohan, Visit Lauderdale, everyone under the sun, every dish under the love, promoting Greater Fort Lauderdale because there's diversity here, where there's 72, I think, types of cuisines that you could find at local restaurants. 4,000 restaurants in Broward. Next week we'll be with Neki Mohan. Visit Lauderdale wants you to know that that's what we're all about. Calling all the foodies out there, but also if you're into the craft beer, the local, we've got speakeasies, we've got rooftop bars, we've got all these things. Go to visitlauderdale.com for all the latest of the promotions, events. We've got Tortuga Festival coming up. Going to be a lot of visitors.
Oh yeah. I'm having some lunch down there with people at Funky Buddha, and I have to tell you, there's a Greek place, La Meses. Have you ever been to La Meses?
I have not. I mean, everybody.
Doris is on Pembroke Road and Hollywood Boulevard.
See, I got to get out west. Now, you were asking me about Chinese food. I was telling you the place that I've been loving now. Bit also closer to you on Sterling Road near University. It's in a shopping plaza that has a Carvel ice cream. It's called Hong's Barbecue. It's kind of Hong apostrophe S barbecue. You're going into Chinatown. They've got the back hanging ducks and the sides of the roasted pigs and all those things. And they do everything well at Hong's Barbecue. Again, one of the diverse things you can find.
I'll tell you another thing. We were spoiled because for years we went to sushi called Takayama, and it was owned by Susie and Kenny Takayama. It used to be a kind of a multicultural, but with Japanese. And Kenny, chef, I mean, literally trained, and he made homemade dishes. And me and the go there, and then me and Bo Kemper would go there. We'd meet Jim Kick. He had like 50 different kinds of sake. He retired, and it closed. And we've been looking for a place. We finally found it, and it's on Pine Island. It's in the public shopping center, Pine Island and 84. There's a craft open that used to be.
Yeah.
It's called Zaab. Z-A-A-B.
Yeah.
It is
good,
spectacular.
Yeah, I've been going to a place in that Cilantro Asian Bistro in that plaza near American Heritage. I pick up my daughter. It's a place called CJ Black's that has good burgers.
I heard it's a great place.
Places in town. I could sit here and talk food with you.
You
all
got
day.
that right. I will be here.
The problem
to talk
is
food.
we can't be on the air all day. We're gonna have to run. Again, the contest. Get those picks in to MikeMayoEats@gmail.com by noon tomorrow, and hopefully
I
do
would
it
love
again
to, Mike.
someday.
What an honor to be with you. And I have.
Who's that?
And I can
we
tell.
hope he gets better soon.
And I'll tell you this: we have fun, and whether you eat like a slob or not is irrelevant. But to have resurrected something you love and you're passionate for, and doing well with, and getting respect for. You went from a vocation where people always asked you, who do you think is going to win? That where can I go eat tonight? Right.
What's your favorite restaurant?
Exactly.
Where's the best burger?
Exactly.
What's the best
So to that, I'm honored to be with you, and you can welcome me back. I'll talk food with you anytime.
Tony, we got to go get some winners. They are screaming. Hey, everybody. Have a great weekend. We'll see everybody again on Monday from Grandpa's. Hopefully you can get some bagels on the way home.
On my way home, I'm going to go to Grandpa's
bagels.
and get some. Try the rugelach there, too.
The chocolate or the raspberry, it's to die for. All right, that's going to do it. We'll see you on Monday. Defo, get better. Condolences to Asia. And everybody out there, have a great, spectacular weekend. Remember to enjoy every $34 plate of pasta and enjoy every sandwich.